Alright, legends, a word from today's sponsors before we kick off the podcast. Are you looking for a tray or canopy? Today we have LJ Fab based out of Chinchillies doing custom ute and tray canopies, shipping Australia wide. If you're looking for your next steel or aluminium custom tray for your rig, make sure you get in contact with the team over at LJ Fab. Their work is second to none and can't be beaten. They're now taking orders from June onwards, so getting quick, spots are filling fast. Let them know the Hey Big Mac podcast has sent you. Thanks, guys. Next is Hamptons Media Services. Are you chasing professional photography, videography between Gold Coast and Bundaberg? Or logo designs like the same you see from all the Hey Big Mac accounts? They can bring your profiles back to life with new professional looks, so go check them out and let them know Hey Big Mac has sent you. Thanks, guys, and on to today's episode. Cheers.
So, this is a website, start.
I've done 3 of these. This was my favourite one.
It's a Sunny's. Alright, welcome back to the Hey Big Mac podcast. Today I'm sitting here with the Built Not Bought crew, Sam and Monique.
We might get Zach in later, he's
Just
just come into the business.
Yeah, Zach will pop in and who knows if Bridget will come outside off the meetings.
Yeah.
So yeah, no, we're sitting down, first recorded episode.
If you're hearing these bangs, we're on a welding table,
Yeah.
drinking bevies.
Yeah. You might be able to adjust here and maybe not.
Maybe.
It'll be fine.
Stop bashing it. You're making it worse.
No.
How you liking the podcast? I'm frothing it, dude.
It's sick, it's something different, so something to change it up and talk to everyone and I don't know, expand the industry.
How many have you done now?
This would be 11.
That's a go. I've listened to a few, I enjoy it, it's good.
Yeah.
And I reckon it's what the industry needs, eh? Something consistent.
Yeah, it was a change to bring in that I needed to... You can't go to DI now and film another DI video because everyone's done it. You can't go to Fraser Morton, and I was like, everyone's on YouTube. I need to get onto Spotify or something like that. So that was my change with it.
Yeah, that's where Monique was last weekend, DI.
Yeah.
The rest of them?
You know, I only downloaded Spotify to listen.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, I didn't have Spotify.
A lot of people are like that, and I don't know, a lot of the boys that I talk to, they're all out in the mines, and that's all they do is they're on podcasts and music or that. You can't listen to the same music list every day, so...
No. It's good when you've got a long drive just to listen to our voices.
Yeah.
How soothing.
Bridget.
So I'm changing the channel right now.
Yeah. I suppose we'll just get into what's going on lately for you two. Where are you at?
Yeah, heaps. Monique's just joined last it's been a couple of months, but there's a delay in content, so she's coming on soon. Actually, last episode was yesterday. When's this going live?
Either next week or the week after.
Yeah, so a couple of weeks ago was her first kind of build episode, so that's been going good. There's heaps of that happening. Heaps of stuff around home still. I mean, still setting up the shed, to be honest. There's a lot of that construction going on, so it's been a bit of a juggling year, to be honest. So my lease ended on my workshop last year, and I was kind of in between 2 places, didn't really have a home, so there was a lot of just filler content going out, but this shed's pretty much done now, so we've got a full list of builds, and that's why we got Monique on board, and it's going good.
Yeah.
And I suppose you've jumped on because obviously Mitch has jumped out in a way. Like Mitch is still around, but...
Yeah, it kind of came from me. I always said at the start when he started working for me, it was a bit of a after hours sort of deal, and then it got more full time, but I was like, man, you have to go and finish your apprenticeship. So he's just got another year to go. So that was the deal. He works for me, but make sure he finishes his apprenticeship. So he's gone to do that, and he may be back in the future, so who knows.
That's the go. Yeah. Well, I suppose the shed, you talked about moving out of your old one to this one. You want to talk about your party? The week leading up to it, working on the shed. And,
you got to have a shed party.
Yeah, so...
It was pretty loose, that one. It was my 30th, so you got to have a big... It was a bit of combination of like being 30 and then like a bit of a housewarming for the shed as well, so... You were involved with the construction of that.
Yeah, that was a big 4 or 5 days pushing into
it was
that.
like a week out, eh?
Yeah, and then I think I finished Friday morning, and I was like, I've got nothing to do. Do you want to hand painting? And then it turned into like setting up blow-up boxing rings.
The whole thing. So I think it was a week earlier, the whole shed was bare, and we like insulated, gyprock, sheeted, roof. As we were painting, stuff was moving in for the party. Like it was just... there wasn't a
graffiti artist.
Yeah, he was painting that graffiti wall like as the day people were rocking up. Like it was tight, but we got it done, kind of.
It's turned out sick.
Yeah,
like,
it's really good.
Oh, anyone that's seen your YouTube in the last month and all the hoist is in prime spot for the build videos because it's big graffiti wall right there. All the
the guy's coming back to do some artwork on the roller door behind it.
Yep.
And we've got a sneaky build happening in about 2 months or so. And I'm going to get him to render the car on that door. So, because it's a thing we're building that doesn't exist yet. It's a bit of a mashup of everything. So that wall will be the inspiration and the render of what we're trying to build in real life. So
nice.
Some really tricky one.
So it's build the car off the wall.
Yeah, literally. It's like I was like, paint something and we'll create it. We'll bring it to life. So,
Colour match, but with cars.
Yeah, literally.
That would be cool. Drifting at the moment, you're flat out into that.
Yeah, it's another aspect, and it's one of those things I never ever looked at JDM cars. Had an appreciation for them, but until you get into it and you start working with those vehicles, and you sort of get a bit of a love for them. So I know a lot of people watch it and they're like, oh yeah, drifting, whatever, but until you've tried it, it's actually a pretty addicting sport, and it's a really good group of people. So everyone helps everyone. The cars are just cable tied together. Not everyone's up to the fancy shit. Some of the best drifters have like the cheapest cars. So it's one of those sports that money doesn't matter, ego doesn't matter. It's just go out and have fun.
Yeah, it's a place to like. I've got a few mates that I've grown up around, and they're drifting all the time down at the tracks.
Yeah, industrial area.
And industrial, yeah.
That's you, the day. In the E36.
Yeah.
Are we going to drift that thing or what?
Yeah. Well, I just got to put the small rims on.
Smaller rims.
Yeah.
And a bigger motor.
Well, yeah, definitely.
Okay.
Horsepower.
Oh, stop it.
That thing's funny. I think one of the first episodes, actually, it was on the drift car.
Yeah.
Yeah, that car's in the video, and like the door car's falling off.
Yeah,
it's fun.
Interiors,
that door card's gone now. It's in the shed.
I remember working upstairs here, and you were running around with this car, and shit's falling off it, and you're like, have a look at it, and I was just like,
it's sick.
I'm not going to judge. Like,
it's literally a drift car. It's ready to go.
Yeah.
Stuff falling
It's
off.
prepared. I just need I need something. It's just not great at the moment.
I think you need a new car.
No, I will never get rid of it, but I need something else.
She's attached.
It's my baby. It's tattooed on me.
Yeah. Really? Oh,
Yeah.
Oh, dude.
Baby.
Oh, I can't get rid of it now.
Yeah. No way.
I suppose that's like, you'd never really get rid of the troll either, because it's sort of, it's your car.
It's had like 3 rebuilds in it. We just thought, even if the car itself disappears and I'm like, I need a new body on it or a new chassis, like I'll always just change those bits on it. So eventually none of that original car may ever exist because like things have rusted out or whatever. But it'll always, I'm never just going to sell it as is. So yeah, sentimental.
It's one of those things you can't get rid of. Like I've toyed up with selling mine, and then I go, but it's sort of just me.
Exactly, yeah.
And then you just bring extra things into the fleet that are like, how many cars do you have here now? 5, 6, heaps.
15.
A few.
There's a lot. There's a bit of car yard down the back. Yeah. But it's due for its next birthday. The wrap's pretty hammered on it. A little bit more bodywork with just the front end, and once that's done, then I'm gonna, I'm toying with painting it, but I don't know, the wrap's sort of my thing, because then I can put different logos and stuff on it. But maybe do it black, who knows? I'll definitely keep the canopy like with the wrap on it, but the body might look right in black.
Purple.
But I just suck with the paint job. Yeah, purple.
Yeah.
Purple, bright purple.
Yeah, you can do that.
Why don't you paint the same as your drift car?
Could do. Oh yeah,
Oh
that's
my
a good
God.
idea.
Stop.
Get the whole fleet going.
But not those colours. We could do like a different
do
versions.
Do like the
do a black,
the
white, and
greens.
grey.
Yeah, black, white, grey, but like with the textures and stuff.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
I'll do mine.
It's not very sharp lines on it, but it could work. We're about to paint Zach's drift car the same.
Yeah,
it might just be our thing.
Yeah, we'll have that built this weekend. So.
Yeah, that's pretty hectic. As you listen to this weekend just gone was massive drift event, and Zach spun a bearing on his motor. We changed it, he did in like 2 days, and we may or may not paint it in 1 day. So it's an effort. It's a bit of a mish. He's over there. We're watching him right now.
He's sitting there struggling.
He's just doing up that last bolt, and then he'll come on the podcast. Hey, mate. Come talk about the future of built up war.
Yeah. Well, Zach sure. We'll get Zach on and talk about what his goal is. Yeah. But this morning we've just done mechanic things on, influencer things on cars. It's just winches,
fixing the last minute,
intercoolers, bit everything.
Yeah, stuff from the car to my car. We've got Fink coming up, which will be sick. I think you're doing a podcast out of Fink.
Are we going to try and set it up live?
That'd be
And
sick.
see how we go and just
I've got
sort of-
Starlink. Pull up to my camp and we run up in bloody 4K, bloody whatever.
Yeah, perfect.
Hopefully the internet works out there. It's going to be a good old test. Elon Musk.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Just
yeah.
shout out Starlink.
It sucks at home, but it might work.
Yeah. Oh, we're in the middle of the desert. It can't be that bad. So,
No trees in it.
no. Are you very keen for that? You went last year, didn't you?
This will be my 3rd year in a row. I don't know why I keep going back. It's one of those addicting places.
Yeah.
But when they said the trucks weren't going to run, I pretty much canned the trip. But now they're like saying they're coming back. But it's just a good time. I don't go there to film or anything. It's literally just a holiday.
Yeah.
Hang out by the fire. I've learned my lesson with how cold it is. So I've got like heated blanket, heated sheet, an electric, one of those Milwaukee like electric jackets.
Oh.
I'm gonna have like Ugg boots and gloves. Like honestly, people don't understand. In Australia, it's like the coldest place you go. I swear to God.
Pretty much.
I wake up one morning and all the water tanks and all the cars are frozen. Like we had no right. And you put your hand in the fridge and it's warm in the fridge. So it's pretty great. Oi!
We've got a dogfight going on.
Axel! Axel! Going through puberty over there.
All good.
Yeah. No, this is my first time out thing. Everyone's
sick.
warm, it's cold.
Yeah, it's pretty.
I'm not looking
Yeah, it
forward to that.
sucks. You don't want to get out of bed.
It's going to be a nice night in the swag.
Oh man, you should get one. You got one of those stretchers, or are you on the ground?
On the ground.
Oh, dude, when we went to the Cape years ago. If you have a stretcher, you get coals of the fire and put it under the stretcher and then bury, like put sand on top.
Yeah, right.
Just-
Actually works mid, like the
Catch on
whole thing's a
fire.
heat up. Yeah, if you go too far, you start melting the swag.
I've done that before with a chair and it melts my chair. So
Yeah, you gotta get the right temperature, right level.
I'll change the topics a bit for you, Monique. How's it been joining into the starlight of YouTube and everything there?
Well, it was like I knew what I was in for. Like I knew I was gonna like cop a bit of hate and like whatever. Like it's not really. It never really bothers me. Like I feel like I have pretty thick skin.
Yeah.
But in saying that, it was like 1 minute. Like I just have my normal account with like my friends and who I know, and then the next minute I have this account, and then the next morning I wake up and there's like 6,000 people, and it's like some of them are sending me like the girls especially. There's a few of them. And they sent me like big messages like, oh, like you're doing so well. Like don't worry about all the messages and comments and stuff like that. And then I like hadn't even seen them, and there's like 6,000 people just like having their say, and it was like it was a lot, but again like got pretty thick skin. I think that was fine.
Yeah, that week that I seen it, I was paying pretty close attention to it because not just yourself, but a few others were copying. It was like that whole week, it just seemed to be expanded across girls in the industry that just copped it all week. And I was just like, how is this still happening in this day and age where there's so many girls in the industry now? It's a multi-gender sport.
Yeah.
Like, everyone's doing the exact same thing, and just because people are stuck to their idea of, yes, seeing start a channel and all that, but now to bring on someone else that's not Mitch, and now it's you that's a girl, they've all just gone crazy about it.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, it's no good. It's pretty bad to see. Like it was a lot of my followers, people that were already following my page or on the YouTube videos, and they're just too quick to judge. They're like, oh, she's not a mechanic, blah blah blah, and she's not. And they didn't know that. They just saw a photo and then just started judging a book by its cover. And like the whole point of getting Monique on, she loves cars, but isn't experienced, and which is a good thing because then she can learn along with other girls that want to learn as well.
Yeah.
And it just kind of shows that progression as she gets better and better at working on cars. So it's kind of bad to see all those sort of comments about, oh, she's not this, she's not that, you should do this, blah blah blah. It's just judging book by its cover before they've seen what she does. So,
Yeah.
I don't know. It gets better as time goes on, but it's just the way it is at the moment. People just tend to jump in and just say what they want behind a keyboard and then not really care about anything else and then disappear. The biggest thing I found is just to ignore it. Like you try and stand up someone and go, nah, it's actually like this. They'll just come back and they love just feed it. So I've learned over years to just let it be.
You can't justify with them either. Like it's going to happen regardless. Like you're only going to get more comfortable behind the camera.
Yeah.
Just being in that star show, like it's growing pretty quickly. And I think now that it's the first episode was out of the way and you're 2 or 3 episodes you're on now.
Yeah.
It's starting to just be that normal thing that's built my board now. It's not really going to change.
More regular.
Yeah, it just takes a bit of time. And everyone, like, you got to build a relationship with the people that you watch as well. Like, because she hasn't started the channel and just come into something that's already established. People it's a bit of a shock to the system, and they don't really know who this person is and where they sit in. And it just takes time to build that little relationship up. And that's what Instagram's for. Like, people can go on there and she posts a little bit more private stuff. So yeah, it's just all about getting to know who Monique is, and she brings a lot to the table when it comes to the channel, so it should be good.
I feel like your Instagram's sort of almost a bit of the behind the scenes side of Built Not Poor. That's how I sort of like view it. You don't get to see the everyday little thing, but you get those little clips where it's just, we're working on this, working on that, and it's that behind the scenes action that's just different. Something to change it up.
Yeah, we're thinking of getting a car maybe for that page. Well, not for the page, but for Monique, which is...
So I have something that like people can follow along with, because I feel like it's all good, well and good to be like, I want to learn and like learn with like other girls and sort of give that to them, but like I'm just helping really. Whereas if I like have my own sort of project that I can sort of build, then girls will be more confident in being like, I can actually do that.
Yeah, so looking at that, I think we'll be getting a car for Monique pretty soon. Like, get the shorty out of the blade and stuff, and just tinker on it in the background, like in between projects and that. Just have something that she can work on, and we can just do little mods and stuff too. So yeah, I think that would be good for the page, and like I said, good for for people to see her do it on her own vehicle rather than just you're basically maintaining everything I've broken. That's all we've done today, just like fix things that are broken.
I've got a little insight of that this morning. You're under the car, elbow deep, covered in oil.
Sam's eating in a sidewell.
Yeah, I'm just sitting down breakfast and she's covered in diesel, just oil there. That's what Mitch was doing though. Yeah,
Mitch was doing the same thing.
What it takes.
One day, how long have you been doing this for? 7 years? You would have been doing it.
Yeah, since 2017. What's that?
I can't do maths, don't ask me.
6 years, yeah. So everyone started at some point.
Yeah.
I'm still the same. I'll get under my car and rip hubs apart.
Yeah.
Covered in grease.
You've got to maintain your own cars for sure. And that's the work people don't see behind the scenes. We're trying to always build new projects and do the next thing, but everything we've already got is constantly breaking down and having issues and maintenance.
I wonder why.
Well, I'm pretty rough on my stuff, but if your car's on linear all day, petrol just gets hammered. Like, I don't really... I would say I wouldn't take care of that car. Yeah. But it's being used, that's what it's there for. I'm not there to make it pretty.
Yeah, it's if you've got a show car, like I look at the same on mine, if you've got a show car, it's probably never going to break. It's never going to have regular maintenance as much as we're doing. And every 15, 20,000 Ks, I'm doing wheel bearings and hubs just because of how much I flog the crap out of it.
Yep.
So you sort of you're never going to have that pristine show car compared to the person that's only using it for a shop vehicle.
Yeah, exactly.
It's what
it's not going to be a cracking cruiser. That thing's immaculate.
That is tight. I've been at
Instagram that right now if you're listening. Yeah. Cracking cruiser.
Yeah.
Every nut and bolt is like chrome on that thing.
Pristine. I was up there this week. That's where I got the traps off.
Oh yeah.
And it's just tight.
Yeah.
But his work is just the next level above.
Yeah. That's what he enjoys to do, and it definitely shows.
Yeah. But if you can build a car like that, it's one of those cars that is built where no one can question a thing on it.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like no one's done it.
No. Yeah, definitely. Special.
And I suppose that comes back to everyone's build themselves. If you build a car yourself that no one else has done, then they can't really say anything about it besides criticise what they're jealous of.
Yeah, everything's slightly different. Even that shorty we're doing now, it's a next level above to what I normally do. Yeah. Like when we receive that car, it's brand new paint job, like inside and out, like door jams, everything.
Yeah.
I'm a bit more of that bush mechanic style and just kind of throw it together and make things work and modify and just kind of hack it apart. But we've sort of had to just spend the time with this shorty and just build it to the level that he wants. So it's become really nice. So it's definitely a tedious build. It's a lot slower to film when you're doing that. Like we put hours and hours into it. Just fiddly little stuff that you don't see on camera. But in the episodes it looks like it just kind of gets smashed together. But it's definitely one of those more tedious builds that you want to make sure every nut and bolt's perfect, because especially Guy getting it, he's quadriplegic, and if you haven't heard the story, it'll be on YouTube, but basically he'll be in that car, and if something goes wrong with it or it catches fire or whatever, and like he's strapped in that thing and can't use his arms and legs properly, like you want to make sure that it's safe and it works properly. So it's just taking that extra step to make the car nice for him.
Yeah. I remember seeing it when I was working here. I was just like, that's a cool little build.
Yeah.
No one knew about it until you sort of started.
No, just sort of sat there. We had it for a while until we kind of had the time to get around to it. But yeah, it's probably one of the best cars we've built on the channel for sure.
Is it different building someone else's car compared to yours? Like
I say, it's just the care factor. Like it's you want to be a lot more meticulous and do things right. Whereas with mine, I'm like, I'll fix that later, or just throw it on a couple of techies or whatnot, because you know the ins and outs of it. But like I said, this is just that next level build where you have to take the time. It's not a TV show kind of build car. It's like for someone to use, so you can't cut corners like sometimes you can.
Yeah, I suppose that's the thing too, isn't it? And the power of editing. It looks like it goes together fast, but it's like, what's it been sitting there on the hoist for a couple of months now?
Yeah, it's been a while. I mean, 2 or 3 months, and we've only got one episode out and kind of the second one almost filmed. So it's not a good move when it comes to like making the content and keeping ahead of the game in that aspect. But I just wanted to do it for Guy because he just needed a hand to get the thing done. So just one of those things. Actually, and if they wanted help donate, we got that sticker.
Yeah.
Tell us about it, Monique. Yeah. We've been drilling this into everyone's head.
We have a sticker. It says "Don't be that guy." It's actually a really cool sticker, and basically everything, like 100% of like the proceeds that are made off of it goes straight to Guy, so he can go on a trip or do whatever he wants to do once he receives the car. Yeah. So like, and people have been really good. Like I was packing a couple orders with the girls, and like some people were ordering 5 at a time, and I was like, holy, like it's really good though.
Is that just a limited on that sticker, or it's just going to be?
It's till the car's built, so it'll be until we hand it over. So you've probably got another month in it or so. Yeah. We do want to try and get the car down to the Sydney 4 Drive Show. Oh, so definitely get around it, and it will go straight to Guy, which will be cool.
Buy the stickers. No, we'll put a link in the description for the stickers anyway. Link everything else anyway. So buy the stickers. He's got a pretty touching story.
Yeah, it's pretty nice. Like I said, that first episode you get to hear all about it, so it's pretty intense when it's something that wasn't your fault and it just flips your life upside down, so it's pretty crazy.
He's so positive about it though.
Yeah, it's like, I don't know, you've got to watch the episode
to understand.
It, but it's touching because it's you never know, it could have happened to any one of us.
Yeah.
So just the unlucky side of it, I suppose. Well, he considers himself lucky.
Yeah, that's what he says. He keeps things like his phone that smashed and his helmet, and he's like, these things didn't make it, but I did. Yeah. And he gets to do everything every day. It's not like he has to, he gets to do it.
Yeah.
Positivity is power. What else you got?
I've got a few. I suppose going to how, like starting YouTube for yourself and everything back in the day.
I kind of fell into it. It's very different these days, so people listening who are like, I want to start YouTube, and I get asked all the time how to do it.
Yeah.
It's one of those things, it's kind of changed. Like back in the day, you were like, find your niche, be different, blah, 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 do all this. But I feel like what I've found is people follow something they can relate to. Yeah. So you've got to be different in the way you deliver it, but you've always got to just get a Patrol or get a Cruiser or a car that someone has, because then they're going to want to watch it and learn about it. Even like the old LM106 Hiluxes, there's a bit of following behind them at the moment. The FJ45s were a big thing a couple of years ago, so getting something that, you know, it may seem a bit run-of-the-mill, or even a 79 or that, but yeah, it'll just kind of get your foot in the door to get people to basically follow because they've got the same car, and just deliver it different with the way you do it, the way your episodes are edited or whatnot. But yeah, it's definitely different, whereas I kind of came in early when there wasn't so many people around, and it just kind of fell into place, so yeah, it's changed.
You can see between, I suppose there's like there's Maddie from Explore Life, there's I'd say TJ as well.
Yeah.
Like there's a couple of years that you're in that 2 to 3 years earlier than everyone else.
Yep.
Where you've just set your mark.
Yep. And we've all got our lane there. Like I watched TJ before I even started my channel. Yeah. He's been around for years, so he just went full time like a year or so ago. But it's one of those OG, like even Ronnie Dahl back in the day, like he was the first to do a lot of the trip stuff. So me and like Matt Baker and that were just lucky to get in at that time.
Yeah.
And he was doing the trip stuff and I was doing the build things, and yeah, it's kind of luck of the draw for that aspect. But you still got to work hard and stay ahead as you move forward, or you can kind of quickly fall behind.
Yeah, because the build side of it, like, you've gone through LS Patrols to now Duramax and all the different types. When you do that build series, everyone that wants to follow you in your footsteps, want to go out and build a LS Patrol or the Duramax Patrol, they're going to go to your video and see how do you wire this up, what conversion kits he done, all the different little things that you might detail that someone else hasn't detailed, and that's just where you hit your market.
Yeah, so it's kind of 50-50 between that education side where people go on there to learn about it, and then the other half sort of entertainment where they're not necessarily doing a build, but they just like to watch what you're up to. I think the 80 series was a good example of that, because I did a little bit different with the 200 front and welding the doors and that, didn't just chop it, and a lot of people I know were watching it just curious about what we were doing. So that was a good build in that aspect, because it's not really a practical everyday car that you would build. And that's sort of what we're going to do next with this other project secret thing that we're rendering on the wall. It's not for any purpose, but it's sort of a thing that I've had in my mind since I was like a kid, and we're just going to build something cool. So it's one of those entertaining builds.
And that'd be a bit. Are you going to do the same sort of thing with Navara for the giveaway?
That's going to be basically a build episode, but the angle we're going with that is trying to get someone out here to come and just hang out in the shop. Like, I always get asked by people who are like, oh, I want to come build my car with you, or like just get a bit of experience or whatever. So we thought we'd give away that opportunity to come like into the workshop and put a bar together. So that's kind of been built as a bit more of a weekender toury thing, so it can go either way, where it's a bit more hardcore off-road, or like you can set it up for going a bit more touring and that. So it's a good base. We're just doing all the essential things, suspension and all that. But it's like 20 grand worth of product we're throwing at it to get it ready for anything that the owner wants to do with it. So that's a pretty cool one. We're still running at the moment. So
that's
within the Navara.
That's a life-changing build still, though.
Yeah, definitely. And that's why I want something modern. Like, we're not doing some strange car or an old rusty bucket. Like, this is just an MP300, pretty common, very modern, nice and reliable. And it's just it's going to be a good one for someone that can either get into the industry wheeling in that, or they've already got a car and they can just use it for weekend stuff.
That's going to be cool. And that giveaway is going for a little while still?
Yeah, still another 3 weeks. So we've got
2 weeks after this comes out.
Yep. We'll chuck a link in there as well. It's just a sticker pack and a shirt pack. And we've got our new merch dropping soon, and it'll be part of that as well. So
right.
Good segue for Zach, probably. Are you finished working on your car?
Yeah.
Are you ever really finished?
No.
Are you ever really finished? Where do I stand?
Somewhere. Do you want to share?
Hey,
Just share.
Yeah.
Put
Jump on swap and change.
Fancy. First time podcast.
Two first for that. Yeah. Alright, so what's sort of your role in Built Not Bought?
So mainly I've sort of come in and basically taken over the merch side of things.
Okay.
So just trying to free up a bit of Sam's time so he can focus on other areas. And I'm just going to sort of push that a little bit harder because I've got the time to do it, which is why we've sort of gone for that little bit of a rebrand, just trying to freshen up some things, some new designs, and see if we could sort of, I guess the goal is to sort of push it in a direction where you don't necessarily need to be a follower of the channel to want the merch. If we can get sort of in that direction, I'd be very happy.
Get something that's more of an apparel line instead of a...
just something a bit more
merchandise.
Well-rounded and...
He hated my designs, that's what you should say.
Some of them.
He's more creative than me. It's just making it look a bit better.
That's good.
Something you want to wear.
Yeah.
The rule is, if you and the boys don't want to chuck it on and go to the pub, then don't sell it.
Yeah. It's like when you're in the shop. If you don't absolutely love something that you pick out, you're not going to wear it in 6 months' time.
Exactly.
Anyway.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. And I suppose like one of my favourite shirts is your Van Cruiser shirt.
Because it's the same colour as your car.
Yeah, well that too. And it's just like sandy. It's nice. Like, it's weird, but like one of my best doing reels on Instagram is wearing that shirt.
I saw
it. was just like
bottle open on
bottle
the
open on dirt bike. Something cool like that.
Yeah, we're kind of trying to toys in different colours and that, and I don't know, the drift car's pink. Will be a little hint of what we're doing.
Yeah, some pink stuff.
Real man wear pink.
That's right.
You
Stand out from the crowd.
You've always sort of like you've had the Ranger touring. doing that sort of stuff?
Yeah. So I've been around sort of similar things to Sam, I guess. Obviously, I've never really filmed anything. But yeah, I've obviously grew up in WA with Sam, so I've done a lot of the Kimberley. I've done a lot of Australia now that I've moved over here, actually. Just touring around in the Ranger. Recently brought the drift car, so just getting into that, learning. Obviously, big learning curve the other night when I run the car too hot.
Yeah.
That bearing. So the last couple of days have been very busy for me, getting that engine out, getting the next engine I was going to put in out as well. So I had to pull 2 motors out and then drop this one in. And she's running, so pretty happy. First sort of engine swap I've done pretty much by myself.
Yeah.
So far, I mean, we haven't actually taken it out to drive, but so far it runs, it idles.
Yeah.
But yeah, just trying to get that ready for the weekend.
Yeah. And you've grown up building cars, doing little projects.
Similar background to Sam, I guess. Learning a lot through Dad. Dad's been around cars his whole life. Sam probably took it to a level a bit more than me. I wasn't as into it as they were, but I've always been, enjoyed it. I've got an old 72 HQ that I built. So I've sort of, I don't know, I'm not as much into the wheeling side of full driving. Like I like the touring, hence the Ranger. It's just sort of set up for those long haul trips. But more the cars I'm into, a lot more sort of streetable muscle cars. I'm sort of getting into that drift scene now as well. So yeah, just a bit of an all rounder.
All the adventure touring, sort of like getting to experience places side of things.
Yeah, I'm definitely more about the destination than sort of the journey, I guess you could say.
Yeah, right. More seeing the final result when you pull into like a beach or a nice lookout or.
Yeah. I'm not looking to break my car on the way there.
I think me and Sam are a bit the opposite, probably.
I don't intend to, but it just breaks.
Yeah. See, I'll do everything just to get to the spot.
Yeah. I'll always take the shortcut that goes through the bush and a bit more hectic, remote, whatever. But yeah, you always end up with a more beat up car.
That's pretty much. Yeah. I'm always for the journey there than the destination. Like I'll go a weekend out to a lookout somewhere. I'll spend 3 hours on the track stuffing around. We get to the lookout, take a photo, see up and gone.
Yep.
Right. And then some people just want to sit there for 2 hours and soak it in.
I'm like, I move too fast. I can't sit still.
ADHD.
Sit at a lookout for an hour. Let's go.
I
just want to keep driving. My favourite place is to be in the driver's seat. So I go on out to Finch, just on the road again. It's a long drive.
It's a few years between us, but what was the difference moving to Queensland when you moved, Sam, and now you've only just moved across?
Yeah, well, I obviously came, it was sort of for work. I just liked the place. Perth was a little bit slow for me. And it's just good to start fresh, go to a new place. But it was right when COVID hit. Sunny Coast was pretty dead, like the roads, there was no traffic on it. This place is sick little country town. But now it's like actually hectic busy. So it was, a risky time to move, but it was definitely a good move for me. And Zach just needed a bit of a reset as well, I think, after a couple of years.
Yeah, I just sort of was a bit over what I was doing back in Perth. Sort of similar to Sam, I guess, was happy to have a bit of a refresh, sort of fresh start. New environment, new things to do. Anyone that's ever lived in Perth probably say the same thing, that there's not a whole lot going on. So coming over here has definitely been a big eye-opener for just, a lot more out there to do and see. So no, I'm very happy. Nice to have a bit of a change of scenery. I know you've recently jumped off the tools as well, so I guess you have that feeling too. Like it is a hard slog sometimes, so it's nice to be off the tools a little bit. And just enjoying new adventures and new things to do.
Did you sort of see yourself at a point of like, I don't know how long you're in the trade, but like I was 10 years in and I was like, I don't want to be doing this till I'm 50?
Yeah, I was about the same, about 10 years. So I had my own business for about 5 of that, and then it got quite busy over in Perth, and I had a few issues with trying to get decent employees. It just sort of, it just ran me into the ground, and I just put a sour taste in my mouth, and I just kind of thought, you know what, I'm not sure I want to do this for the next 50 years. I'm sure there's better ways to make money. So I guess I'm on that journey now.
Was it your original plan to sort of stop construction and then jump on with Sam doing all this, or? that just sort of fell into place?
To be honest, I kind of didn't really have a plan. I knew I just didn't want to keep doing what I was doing.
Yeah.
And then just talking to Sam, obviously, being my brother, I do miss having him around. So living on the other side of the country was hard. So I thought, all the activities and stuff he was getting up to over here is very much down my alley. So I was definitely keen to get over here and experience sort of Queensland lifestyle, I guess, and just take a break from the work in Perth.
Yeah, it's very sporty and full on over here.
Which I love.
Everyone that comes to the sunny coast, they're like, every single weekend there's something to do. You're busy, it's forward driving. We're 40 minutes from Double Island. You can go Wake Park, surfing, whatever it is like that.
Yeah, that's actually something I've noticed a lot with my Ranger setup. Being from WA, it's not uncommon to do trips for 2 to 3 weeks where you really don't have those in between towns, and you do need a setup that's going to last. With the solar and the 12 volt and the storage for a good couple of weeks off grid.
Yeah.
And I've noticed since being here that you really don't have more than 2 or 3 days between towns. So the setup I've got is kind of a bit of overkill.
Yeah.
If I was to build something here, it'd probably be a lot more scaled down.
Yeah.
Probably just a half canopy and just sort of more of a weekend warrior.
You see a lot more people going that way on the coast. Sort of compared to everywhere else I look at in Australia, it's weekend setups, those quick getaways, just because we're within 500 k's of all some of the best islands, beaches, tracks, all like that. Whereas if you're down south, people are travelling days and nights just to get to.
Yeah, I mean, when I was in Perth, our average holiday, you drive 6 to 9 hours just to get to where you want to be.
Yeah.
So to be around here and you can drive an hour or two down the road and you're on a different island, it's pretty special.
It is, mad. Yeah, my younger brother, he's just moved over to Margaret River.
Oh yeah.
And so he's sort of getting the other side of it now, him and his partner travelling Oz, and they've just pulled up there and they're doing their thing with work, so they get to sort of see, but they're we're a couple of hours from the city and you want to go shopping, you've got to go find something else. And
yeah, well, it's give and take. There's two sides to it. You can either be in the hustle and bustle and you don't get that sort of really remote feeling, or you can be over there. Some people love it. I enjoyed it. Having that sort of campsite to yourself, I guess you could say. You don't really get that over here. It's a lot easier because the places are so much more accessible. But yeah, it's just a whatever style you're into, whatever style of touring or camping.
Yeah.
There's a bit for everyone, really.
Yeah. And you've got a partner now. We sort of keep that a bit quiet, don't we? But you're planning just different trips, and you do a lot on that side of thing where you just keep it quiet for yourselves, I noticed. And I do a bit of filming as well. So I film for Sam and I film for my partner too. Yeah.
I'm out on trips every now and then just for filming runs, which is a great way for me to sort of see this side of the country as well.
Yeah.
So I'm very lucky in that side. And then, obviously when I'm not doing the filming, I'm just at home here working with Sam and working on the merch for you guys.
Yeah. What's it like being on behind the camera, I suppose, not in front of it?
To be honest, I'm not the most talkative bloke.
Yeah.
I'm a man of few words. Doing this right now is probably a bit of a stretch for me. So I'm pretty happy being behind the camera. I'm not someone who's bouncing with energy like Sam. Where a lot of people sort of have met Sam and meet me and they go, "Wow, you guys are polar opposites."
These are very different.
Which is quite true. So yeah, I'm pretty happy behind the camera. It sort of taps into my creative side, I guess, just working angles and thinking of the shots and helping put together a good episode.
Yeah. It's super to see. We went up to Rocky Nights, and I sort of got to see behind the scenes of the behind the scenes. Just running around all weekend, it was just film everything, interviews, and it wasn't so much of a film doing anything. It was just interviewing all weekend.
Yeah, it can be very fast paced. When you are filming, I think sometimes, it's just part of the job, I guess, to get the content out quickly, but sometimes you do sort of think, I never really took in that spot and stopped at. Like,
Yeah.
it was all just go, get the shots, got to get to the next place. So it can be like that, which I guess people wouldn't really know unless they were behind the scenes. But it just comes with the territory, I guess.
Yeah. I mean, we'll run around all weekend. It's a 3-day event, went into like a 20-something minute video.
Yeah,
It's
you'd be
like-
surprised how much you need to do to fill in not so much time.
Yeah.
Like days of content squished into a 20-minute video.
Yeah. Like there would be like hours and hours and hours of footage that it's just cropped up, pick the best bits. Like the stuff that was, we sat there on bumper cars at one point for like 10-15 minutes. You can't use 10-15 minutes of clips of that.
No, that's it. Yeah, sometimes you can do half an hour to an hour of an activity just to get that 5-minute or 5-second snippet. But I'm sure Monique is probably getting experience in that now as well.
Yeah.
She's dropped up and she's going, oh my god, I've got to do this 5 times so you can get the shots in different camera angles. And whereas if you're just doing it off camera, things are done 5 times faster.
Yeah, it's so true because getting into it myself, like you go to do a project like whatever it might be on the Ute and you go, oh, I should have filmed that, so then you pull it back off and then you do it again, and it's a different side to it.
But you get used to it. I mean, I'm sure you're probably getting used to it now. What do you reckon?
Yeah, it was, I don't know, I've never really been in front of a camera until like now, and yeah, it's definitely new, but definitely warming up to it.
Yeah, it's just like that different train of thought. I think you sort of notice Monique now, she'll go to do something and she'll think, oh, wait, I better make sure this gets filmed before I just sort of go ahead and finish it.
Just always thinking that everything's content.
Yeah.
That's all I think now. If I'm working, if it's something that's social media, I just think content. And even if I film it and it doesn't go out, at least it's something that's there as a backup that, alright, it's filmed anyway.
Yeah. Well, I'm sure you guys will see it. Ramble on, I'll give you back to Sam. That's probably why
we're
here.
swapping seats.
It's
Now I'm in this seat.
No, I like those headphones.
Why?
Because they're smaller.
Yeah, they look good on you, but it's a bit too loud for me. Hello.
Oh, Jesus.
It's crack-a-lacking. How you liking the podcast?
It's good.
I've got to interview you now.
Oh, ask me some questions, go for it.
Where do you see self-intending? Nah. Where are you taking it? I see we've got a camera. Is this something new?
Yeah, well,
That's your first time. Go.
so I bought a camera. No one really knows about it, but I bought a camera. I didn't even get to use it, and I drove over it.
I don't know how you did that. Where was this at home?
Yeah.
Just put it on the ground next to your
Put it
wheel.
on
It's a
the-
good spot for it.
Yeah, it was only one of those. It's like a G7X vlog camera, so it's only small, like just something basic. I got it on Marketplace, and now it's just in a million pieces. So threw that in the bin and didn't even get to use it because so
That sucks. Is that a sign? I don't know.
Means you need to upsize.
maybe I need a better camera.
So we'll be seeing podcasts on YouTube soon.
That's the plan. At the moment, they're on YouTube, but they're just audio only.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
you're going to see a thumbnail, basically the whole active video.
Yeah.
And it wasn't ideal, but
Yeah.
originally it was meant to be the opposite way around. I'm meant to be filmed and then it'd go to Spotify, but
Yeah.
I actually worked out Spotify before I worked out
Yeah,
how to
right.
do it all on video and YouTube and all that. So
Nice. Sick. That'll be
it's
good.
Something to change it up, and I
Yeah.
don't know, I'm just loving something different. And it
Yeah.
gives me. I've made a rule to myself. I'm not going to miss a week.
It's hard. What if you run out of
It's so
people?
hard.
So, you've done a couple on your own. You just have to fill it in.
Done a few on my own, and I sort of want to get to a point where I can do 2 a week and have people call in with like camp stories or fuck ups or fails or whatever it might be,
Yeah.
and do more of like a news update. Like
Yeah.
there's just different things that happen through the week that people want to hear about, and
Yeah, that's a good idea.
I'll
So
see you
how-
next week then with all Sam's broken shit.
Yeah. Fuck ups on the weekend.
just keep
We'll just
sending
do
me, like-
live fuck ups at
Yeah.
the Cape when we're there.
Yeah, that's
Just
it.
film me while I'm under my cup. So how do people do the call-ins? Is it live or?
Basically, you could film a video on your phone or like a voice recording and just email it in or message it through to
Just
the
listen,
podcast
yeah.
page, and basically this just works its magic and links up, and I just click play on the phone and it plays through and we can hear it.
Unless we do it live. This could work for Think. You should advertise a date. We'll make it
Yeah.
happen. Live podcast, and you can call in live.
That'd be cool.
Yeah. That
It'd be hard.
dangerous.
also don't want every single person having your phone number either.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
So
true.
that's the other hard one.
Make an email account.
No, we'll find a way.
Yeah, I've got the email there.
There you go.
It's yeah, it's a hard
Can't
one.
call on email. We could call. What about on the Hey Big Mac Instagram? Call them through on that.
Or you get
Yeah,
them,
that's a
And
good
then
idea.
you don't have to get numbers and stuff.
or
Yeah.
you get them to send their number to you and you call them.
There's ways around it,
Yeah.
I'm sure.
Yeah, we got to work it out. Yeah,
Figure it out.
but no, I'm loving the podcast. It's
Yeah.
just different. So
That's good.
I was sitting there for it was probably middle of last year when I was up Cape York, and I was like, when I was working here, I had my headphones on. I just go zone out, do my thing, and I was like, you know what? No one in Australia has a full drive industry-based podcast.
Yeah.
But if you go to America, there is hundreds of them.
Heaps, yeah.
And I was just like, I'm listening to all these blokes in the States, but I'm not hearing anything besides YouTube. What's happening in
We've got some
Australia?
of the best places in the world for
Yeah.
that. So.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a funny one. People came and did it for a bit. I did a little Instagram one, and then Matt did one through COVID and that. But yeah, to get something sustainable and build up the name for Hey Big Mac podcast, like, it's a bit of work, but
Oh, it's been a slow start, but I don't know, I just found like different things, and you sort of got to be a little bit clickbaity to get
Yep.
a thing out there, but then people start listening and going, oh, what's this and what's that,
yeah.
and it's just, I'm sort of learning from the start.
Yeah, it's like any social media. You got to hook them in with something.
Yeah.
A little thumbnail, a little clickbait, whatever.
Well,
but then it's got to be something.
whatever you were doing is working. Because like I didn't even know that like I was involved like in speech of one,
Yeah.
and like my small group of friends like were like, oh, like he was talking about you and this was happening, and you
Yeah.
know like you're working it.
Yeah,
They heard about
it's just, it's weird how much, like, from just posting a car and videos and trips, and then doing the podcast, I get 10 times more people message me like, just listen to the podcast, this is sick. And then they'll send me like, the next week they'll be listening, they'll send a topic, or they'll go, what do you think of this?
Yep.
Or, and it's like, that's when Monique jumped on your channel, and everyone's like, well, what do you think about all this stuff that's going on? And I'm jump back into the comments and going, holy shit.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
and it's just different things like that. And,
Yep.
there's things going on like DI and police and
Yeah, like I
whatever.
said,
else
you need like a
going on.
little news outlet
Yeah.
so people can hear about all the stuff going on.
And I suppose that's the thing you can't get out of a 60-second Instagram story or a 5-minute reel. Like this, I've got the option on here to jump into long form content.
Yep.
And you don't get a headline and a punchline. You get the whole story.
So, yeah. Should be a good thing. I'll keep listening, that's for sure.
Yeah, it's kind of weird though that I jump on Spotify now and I see my own name and logo on there. I go, whoa, that's
Yeah,
weird.
it pops up, yeah. You're in my favourites list. Because I don't listen to many podcasts, and yours are just always sitting there.
Yeah,
So it's good.
just something every Monday and jump on and
Yeah.
hear it, I suppose. So
Alright, well, we've got Finn coming up.
you got Finn
That's
on
it. You doing any shows?
for what the
Like 4Drive show stuff?
I don't know, because I wanted to get to Brisbane this year, and unfortunately fortunately had a wedding to go to from a cousin,
Yeah.
so I was away for that, and
Yeah.
so I was feeling. And then I wanted to go to Sydney, but then it's just going to be tight mixing in with other trips. And I was like, well, there's Melbourne,
Yeah.
and then we're meant to go on up Cape again,
Yeah.
so it's just hard.
It
But
gets busy this time of year.
the shows sort of aren't my scene yet. As
Yeah.
like I can go there and I can be there, but it's not. I don't have like merchandise or anything like that where I can go.
Maybe run the podcast. Hit them up. Hit up the organisers and
That'd
see
be
if you can
cool.
do a podcast for the show and get a link in with their channels and kind of get it shared. I don't know. There's options there. They'd probably be into it. Just more entertainment stuff. Have somewhere to get customers that come up or whatever.
Yeah.
People on stage.
I think that's probably sort of what I want to start with.
Yeah.
Like if we do go out to think and feel, it'd be sort of the same basic idea. Like there might be 10 people there and we jump on
Just
5
random
minutes
people.
each,
Yeah, yeah.
and sort of do that, but then eventually expand it where you could do a live show at the Fall
Yeah.
show.
Yep.
It'd be hard to work out, but
No, it'd be a good.
Something
idea.
that'd be
It's not
different.
impossible.
no, just a different way to, I don't know, set up a booth
Yeah,
and go
yeah.
for it. Just all different, very different.
No, you'll work it out.
And it's hard to do
You're
something.
paving the way because
Like-
Ninos is sort of doing it like you said.
Yeah, because I don't really have anyone to learn off in Australia.
Yeah.
It's doing it like, I listen to Alpha Blokes and Gypsy Tales and that, and they're killing it in their own spots.
Yep.
So it's hard. I take little bits from them of how they're presenting stuff and all
Yeah.
that, but no one's doing it in the four-drive industry where you can just, no one's at those events and doing that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of it, like I think, like I said, a lot of it's just local news they talk about and stories and things.
Yeah.
So you just got to kind of keep on top of it all. That's the biggest thing for you. Will be like the research about what's actually happening.
Yeah.
Be with like up to date with everything.
And that's where it helps when everyone's sending stuff to me.
Yeah.
And I'm seeing it in the inbox and we're going, alright, well, that's another thing I had no idea about. And then, like, there's a thing on the weekend, a bloke's drowned at DI. And
Yeah.
it's like, I didn't know about it until people started posting it and all that. And yeah, it's just some of the different things. And
there's always stuff happening.
Yeah. I mean, this is going to be something that I plan to do for a long time, not a short time. So it's just sort of setting it up in a position where if I get a year or two down the line, it's still doing this thing that I don't know, can only get better.
Yeah, you're killing it.
Yeah, it's awesome when you get these little gaps. That's how I edit it.
We've just covered so much.
Yeah. There's one that I got asked a while ago, and it was actually a message that got sent in about different things to talk about just for random topics.
Yeah.
People kept asking about SIP. Are you able to talk about that whole situation? Or it's just one of those things you don't want to? Or?
Yeah, I mean, it's still going. That's why I can't really talk about it, because I don't know what's happening. Like, I don't know if the car still exists. They were saying they're going to crush it. I'm still like just caught all the time, just going through the motions. Like, they just drag it out. It's one of those things. It's like, you know, you have one opinion, one side. There's always two sides to a story. So it's just now it's been split into like 3 separate sort of trials, and it's just become this massive deal. So it's a bit of a pain in the butt. But yeah, for a video that you make, everyone loved it at the time, and then months later, it's like, oh no, that's not right. You can't do that. It's like, okay. So it's been like a year and a bit now since that's been going on.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it was back in the time when, like I said at the start of the podcast, I had in between sheds where I didn't have kind of a workshop and the builds had to stop. So I was just kind of filling it with other stuff and entertainment to keep the channel going. And it was just one of those real spontaneous buys. I just got this car, just threw an episode together, it all happened within a couple of days. And it just kind of backfired like that. So it wasn't, you know, it's not my normal usual content, and some people were seeing that, they're like, oh yes, shit's going downhill and it's not what it used to be, and it's because I kind of was forced into that because I didn't have the shop. So now we're back in the shed and we can get back to the builds and what I'm usually used to doing. So it was just kind of an odd year for me last year where we had a few of those random episodes, and it just kind of you just jump into something and then it's like, oh shit, like I shouldn't have done that. So
I remember watching it and going like, it was fucking hilarious.
Yeah, it's just good time with boys.
Like, I didn't see anything wrong with it besides what they're obviously saying now.
Yeah.
But it's just like,
we
got
pulled over on the road. Like, we had officers like look over the car on that, and they let us go, and then we put it on the trailer and took it out when no one was around. And you know, everyone's got a side to it, but at the same time, they're trying to get set an example through me because I have a bit of a following, and it's they take it far, but I guess they're trying to get me to just say that that's the wrong thing to do. And like I said, it was one of those spontaneous things, and you just kind of make dumb decisions. So I wouldn't be doing that again. But it's just you just got to think about people around you and what you're doing, what could potentially go wrong. And it's a big thing with making content. It's just being a bit blindsided and not thinking ahead, like, oh, this is a good idea, but like, what if something could actually go wrong or whatever. So you learn from it, you move on, you grow, you do the next thing. And I've been stung a couple of times by just making silly mistakes. So it's just kind of comes with it. If you're making 200-300 videos, you're going to get a couple that just kind of catch you in trouble. So
and sort of not to compare anyone, but you're almost like the Australian version of Whistle and Diesel.
Yeah,
like
but not really.
But not really.
Because he's so much next level.
So
like we do this little thing, and no one bats an eye over there in the US.
Yeah.
But here it's like, oh no, this is wrong. I'm going to arrest you. All this. But the stuff he's doing over there is just insane.
Well, he's getting screwed at the moment for a video splashing each other on the jet ski.
Of all the stuff he's done.
So dumb.
The smallest thing. Same deal. I'm doing. They're taking him right to the top because he's just got that influence. So he's fighting it through the courts, and sort of that's what I'm doing as well.
On him too.
Yeah, it's like something that's. I mean, in the big picture, it's a minor thing, but they just trying to set an example and just I don't know. It's a weird thing because the US is very relaxed with a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, splashing on a jet ski.
Yeah. Crazy. we do that for fun.
Yeah. But over there, Jay drive whatever cars they want on the road for fun, and then I get done for that.
Yeah.
But then we splash for fun, and they get done. No, it's just rules in different places. It's whatever.
I think it's crazy how there's like our laws over here with cars and stuff is just so extreme.
Yeah. Yeah. That's why I'm sort of moving away from building street car stuff. Like it's. You know, if you take it on a trailer, you can build it how you want and not be limited.
Yeah.
So a lot of the stuff coming up is just show car things. You know, it sucks you can't drive on the road, but it's just safer just trailering things. Like, you know, just keep 1 or 2 cars on the road, and the rest of them are just for people who enjoy to see. You get to use it. You know, I got the track car, the drift car. It's all, you know, in the right environment. You can go drifting, you can go drag racing, and just keep it off the street. That's sort of the message they're trying to send.
Yeah.
So you just got to abide by the rules.
It's hard because I try and keep my ute as legal as possible just for that reason. Because the more you start modifying, you get picked out, and then all of a sudden your car's just flagged as a thing that there's constant defects or something here, and it's not enjoyable to just take down to the shops or go for that quick trip away because you got to be worried about it.
Exactly.
And I'm not like I know my mate Andre, he's constantly just trailing the ute because of he just doesn't want the hassle.
Yeah. I never got touched for years, all through WA, and then moved here, it was fine. But now because of the SID thing, all my other cars are just targets. Like obviously everything got defected, my patrol got defected, and I spent weeks backwards and forwards from transport. I must have gone back there 6 or 7 times, just different documents, going to police stations, getting surrogate engine numbers, new mod plates done, all this documentation done to get it back on the road. And even now, I don't drive it unless I have to, unless I'm filming something or going on a trip. Which is kind of frustrating because it's your pride and joy and you want to just jump in it, but I just have to drive a normal, everyday, stock legal car just so I don't get picked on and then jump on the patrol when it needs to be used for a trip or something. So, I don't know, it's just probably just this time until everything kind of blows over, but yeah, it's a bit of a pain that I can't just use what I have at the moment.
Is it a bit of annoying that they sort of do pick you out because of your following, because of your your presence online and everything, where I see some people out there that have no following, no social presence, and they're doing worse stuff, crazier stuff, and it's just because they got no presence, and they sort of get away with it to an extent.
Yeah, I mean, I understand it because end of the day it's all about setting an example, but even when the 80 got done up at Rocky, I had a mate behind me who the police had pulled someone over. I drove past towing my drift car, and then he read their lips and they said, "Oh, that's Sam Monique." So the police knew it was me, and they pointed at my car, and they just jumped in their car and left old mate on the side of the road. They were ticketing. They just left him and went straight after me and pulled me over, fully targeted. Yeah. And it turns out those officers were actually from the Sunshine Coast, and I was always all the way up in Rockhampton, and they knew me, and it's just fully targeted. So it's a bit of a pain when it gets to that level, because I wasn't, trying to do anything wrong. I had everything was on the trailer, the drift car was on the trailer, I was just driving, not speeding, none of that stuff. Yeah. And they was pulling you over, we're bringing transport. Transport came out, and they're like, "Oh, we can't do anything," and then the cops just took the plates for a bit, and that was it. And it's like, why'd you have to do that? Yeah. I've literally bought the car here for a show, take it home, and now it's just sitting here again. So
that was my whole experience that weekend was the local police, awesome. They're like, "Look, it's a big event, it's awesome for the town." They were stoked, and then I got done, but I was doing the wrong thing. I admit that, and it was Sunny Coast Police.
Yeah.
And I was just like, they were hammering everyone.
Yeah. There were a couple of blokes, and went a bit quick off the line, just spinning around, whatever. Got pulled over, a little minor defect. He understood it was a pretty normal conversation, just watch what you're doing, keep it in the show, blah blah blah. That was it. But the first year was trash. Second year was good. Yeah. And I feel like this last year at Rocky was like the first year they were just overdoing it. Just 100 defects in the first day. Just everyone.
Yeah. And I got stopped twice for no helmet on a scooter. I was like, you know how many people are around this town? There's hundreds of scooters.
Well, I picked up a scooter that didn't have a helmet on, and I was wearing one of those massive sombrero hat things. Yeah. And he pulls me over. Yeah, not wearing a helmet. Give me a ticket. And it was the same cop that had pulled me over in the 80. I was like, "Are you joking?" I was like, "Look at me. I'm on my scooter because you took my car away from me. What? You take my scooter? I'm on the walk." Just out of control.
Yeah.
Anyway, rant over.
Rants are never over.
I would say.
Is there anything else you sort of want to bring up about yourselves? Or? Buy guys sticker.
Not really. I'm enjoying the podcast. But yeah, I probably should have put a post up for questions people want to ask, but there's so many things. I always get the usual stuff.
We'll do that for feedback.
Yeah, it's something different, yeah. I like talking about other things. You always tell the story, how you get YouTube and how the business runs, how do you make money, sponsors, blah, 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 all that shit. But it's just fun talking about other stuff.
Yeah.
So any oddball questions, not about, what car you building, just, it'd be good.
Well, I suppose if we could do a thing, if anyone wants to have another episode, send us some questions, different topics. If you can, we'll jump back on and we'll do
So,
it.
yeah, I'll be a think. So, like I said, if we have a thing where there's 10 or 15 people there, I'll jump on, answer some good questions, and then whoever else is there, it's good.
I can already imagine half of the list of questions.
Where's Monique? You're not coming to think? Oh, no.
Hey, you're not coming to think?
No.
Oh.
She's going to start stripping the 80 ready for paint.
Yeah, right. So that's all changed. The 80's changing, getting them overall.
Yeah, I wanted red for 80s, but I think we're going black now. So
Yeah, right.
it's the last show was a Brizzy show, and now we're going to strip it back and it's black. Just finish it. Like it needed the drawers done in the rear, a few little things in the dash, switches, lockers, all that. So yeah, just to finish it fully.
Another one that was just rushed to get for the
Yeah,
show.
yeah. The wrap got thrown on, unveiled, and that was it, and all the little things didn't get done. So. Yeah, and I think the wrap's been there for a couple of years, it's done its rounds of the show, so yeah, I just think a nice black paint job that looks slick on it.
Just keep it subtle.
Yeah. Subtle as it can be.
Yeah, it's a hard one. What about the Deleca quickly? What's happening with
I have no
that?
idea. People love that car. I definitely do something with it because it's definitely a fan favourite. Whether we just get it running again or throw a weird motor in the back, but it's just time. It's sitting there, it's not doing anything, but there's so much coming up that I want to get done, but I'm never going to just be in the Deleca. We'll do something with it. We'll get it going again.
You've started a trend with it because there's so many of those fans
100%.
everywhere.
That's why I'm like, I've got to bring it back. I get tagged every day.
I've done it.
Yeah, photos of it. So it's something that's recognisable for the Build Not Bought brand and budget build. So we'll be bringing it back. And I'll have Mitch back for that build too because it's obviously a car and build. So yeah, it'll be coming back.
Yeah. We haven't mentioned much about the budget build trip this year. I think we're still sort of keeping it quiet.
Yeah.
I want to get something done with Nick on his Gero.
Yeah, it's going to be sick.
Stupid.
Something different.
Bloody awesome. That sounds like a broker.
Yeah, broke that down.
Oh, dangerous.
Yeah.
Oh, we could probably finish it up there anyway.
Yeah, let's get some lunch.
Oh, KFC.
KFC, get a
Say
sneak off.
KFC.
KFC, yeah.
Hey, Paulie, we need some KFC. Oh, beautiful. Alrighty, guys. Well, we'll finish off there. Make sure you jump over, check out Sam's YouTube channel, Built Not Bought. Instagram's Sam Miles. You don't have, it's not Built Not Bought on there, it's just Sam Miles. And then Built Not Bought.
Yeah, Bnb Monique.
Yeah.
Go follow her.
Go
She
check
gets
them
a
out.
bonus when she gets 20,000 followers. So.
Yeah, so I need every single liker person in existence.
Yeah. Go follow the pages, although they've got more followers than the podcast. So it's just we're reversing here. But
Yeah.
Exchange.
Yeah, go follow this app.
there you go. If you listen to the episode, screenshot it, post it on socials, and tag all of us, and
Yep,
we'll try and share them as much as we can.
Done.
Beautiful, guys. Enjoy.
Why don't we use more of that?
That's a finisher.